So we've got three categories today. We've got saving yourself time, energy, and money. Now, first one is time. So I want to give you an example of somebody that I met, and he was the managing director of a construction firm. They're doing about £6 million in revenue, and this guy was doing 140 hours, 14 hours a week, 7 days a week. It was about 100 hours a week. Strangely enough, he was single. He wasn't in a relationship at that point. Can't think why. And he's an extreme example. And I got him down to 50 hours within 5 weeks. And because he was working so overworking, there was loads of kind of fat to trim from that. So it's a great example. And I just want to run you through the things that we use to do that. So firstly, we had to create some awareness. So we did a time log. So I gave him a template, which I've got the template. If you want the template, just make a note of it and I can give you the template later. And we did a time log to see what he was actually investing his time on. Because quite often, if we're not careful, we go running through the day without much level of awareness and of what we're doing. We're reacting to what's going on around us, and we feel that we have to deal with this and we have to deal with that. And once we'd done the time log, there was firstly there was a bit of a gasp, but he was quite shocked at what he was really spending time on. And then the next question was, how much value is the time that you're spending? So, and I'm going to ask this question to the people on the call. If you are, let's say, as the leader of your business, you're worth, give yourself a nominal fee like £50 or £100 an hour, because without you, the business doesn't proceed. So give yourself that number in your head. And now think about the stuff that you do within your business, within your week. What percentage of things that you are actually doing 10 and £20 an hour? And if you could put in the chat box what you reckon, how much of your stuff that you think you're doing is below that figure of 10, £20 an hour kind of admin rate work. Just pop that in the chat box and we'll see where we're at. Because quite often I get a response. Sometimes people are saying 99% of the stuff I'm doing is £10 an hour work. I'm just running around doing this low value work. So we've got 80% from Martin. He'll start coming through. It's quite an eye-opening thing to realise that really you might be the managing director of your business, but you're behaving like an admin person. And you're doing stuff that an admin person does. And then you're becoming the bottleneck in your own business. Because for the business to progress, you need to do high value tasks, strategic tasks, looking at planning your business and getting new customers on board and hiring people and making strategic decisions. That's no good if you're doing your filing. If you're doing your filing, if you're doing payroll or stuff on Xero, your accounting software, which somebody else could quite easily do, then you're becoming a bottleneck in your own business. And that's a problem. Luckily, it's a problem that's reasonably easily solved. So we move on to the next point, which is monkey management. Now, monkey management is based on a book. I should have a copy to wave at you, but I haven't got a copy. It's called 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. Now, you may well have all heard of the 1 Minute Manager series of management books. 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey is the best time-saving book I think I can recommend. And basically, it works like this. So imagine you as the business leader walking down the corridor and you meet one of your team at the water cooler, if that thing does exist. And you say to them, "Hey, Bob, have you got that report that I asked for?" And Bob says to you, "No, I haven't done it because I'm waiting for you to give me an answer on the ZX project." Now, at this point, we have a choice. What most people do is, right, okay, leave that with me and I'll get back to you. Now, if that's the case, who's walked away with the monkey? Me or Bob? And it's us. We've walked away with the monkey. We've kept the monkey because the next action's on us. We've kept it in ourselves. It's like, it's me, I'm going to do it. And so really it's about learning to keep your employees with the monkey and not take them in, which, you know, as a business leader, it's a natural response to keep stuff in. But what I could have said to Bob at that point would have been, yes, we do need to make a decision on the ZX project. So you come to me at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, spend 20 minutes doing a pros and cons of should we or shouldn't we take on this project. And then come to my office and we'll work out a decision. Now the monkey's on their back. And I speak to a lot of business owners who carry a lot of monkeys. And the reason they carry monkeys is because in some way they have superhero syndrome, or they're giving into instant gratification. So superhero syndrome is you come into work with the pants on the outside of your tights and your cape on, and you're there going, I'll fix it, leave it with me. And another client I worked with that did a time log, he was a sales director, realized that he was spending 8% of his time on sales and marketing. He was a sales director. And over 50% of his working week was being a superhero. The stuff that he sold was quite technical. And he had trained people to not think. He trained them not to look for solutions because he would fix everything. So whenever they had a problem with a piece of equipment, he actually had a little office catchphrase, which was, I'll sort it, I'll sort it, I'll sort it. And the thing is, this chap, he was a lovely guy, but he had superhero syndrome and he was being nice to everyone. But the challenge there is that he was, by being nice to everybody, he's robbing them of the opportunity to learn. They can't learn if he's doing everything for them. It's called learned helplessness. He's training them not to think because he's being a superhero. And the reason he's being a superhero is because he's actually giving into the force of his instant gratification. Give me a nod or a wave if you've heard about the experiment they did with kids with the 2 marshmallows. So those of you, they've got a couple of shakes of their head. So what they did is they got kids and they put them in a room, and they said, right, here's a marshmallow on a plate. If I come back in 5 minutes and that marshmallow's still there, you can have a second marshmallow. And basically, most of the kids, when they came back in 5 minutes later, the kids got his mouth eating the first marshmallow, going, I don't even care. And the research showed that the ones, even at that young age, that were able to delay their gratification become super successful later on in life. Because people who become really, really wealthy have delayed their gratification in some ways. Either they've been fiscally, they've cautious, so they've not spent money on shoes and cars and shiny things, or they're able to feel the pain of discipline now, so they don't feel the pain of regret later. So the different types of instant gratification. Just put in the chat box, what kind of instant gratification do you think people will give into that will make them less productive and waste their time? What kind of instant gratification would that be? Social media. Yeah, absolutely. Answering social media messages, texts for a good shot of dopamine. Yeah, absolutely. So when you go on social media and you look at your phone, you get a dopamine hit. And the problem that kids have is that they get really addicted because they can't handle the dopamine. My son's 9, and he just, like, actually after a while his head you can see his brain starting to fry, and the dopamine is a big hit, and we get addicted to it. And I find it's almost instinctive that if I'm working on something and I hit even the smallest of roadblocks where I don't know what to write next, if I'm writing a marketing email and I get stuck what to write next, I can feel my phone twitching, my hand twitching towards my phone. Does anyone get that? When you just give me a wave or a nod if you feel that you're instantly, oh, I don't know what to do next. And it's not even, I'm going to look on my phone and Google the answer. It's just, I want a dopamine hit to make me feel better. And yeah, Dimitri's put food. Yeah, instant gratification. I'm just going to go eat something. Gary, doing things that you'd rather do rather than things that maximize your efficiency. Yeah, it's following your comfort instead of doing what's really, really important. But there's some ways of instant gratification that aren't obvious as well. The instant gratification of being wanted, needed, or liked, or having someone give you the emotion of gratitude. Now, I remember I had in my previous business, I had an office, and I set this all up wrong based on who I am as a person. And my booking team were over there in a big communal office, and I had a solo office over the corridor, and I'm a people person. So by about 10:30, 11 o'clock every day, I'm missing my gratification of human connection. And then I would actually go and annoy my staff. And in my head, I'm thinking, what are you doing with the Sainsbury's job, and how are we getting on with this, and how are we getting on with that? Actually, that was my instant gratification. That I wanted connection. And I knew that not only was I taking my productivity out, but I was also taking them out of the game too for my own pleasure. Some people really like people they'll go and be nice to people, help people, because they want the gratification of gratitude, because it feels really good. But the challenge is those things aren't always putting money in the tills, are they? And quite often they're the low value tasks. So going back to my example of the managing director of the construction firm, once we established what is and what he was, the value to the hour. And for example, one of the things he was doing an online course in bookkeeping, so that he could do the entire company's bookkeeping, so he wouldn't have to hire a bookkeeper for £10 an hour or £15 an hour. I mean, the course itself was about 30 hours long before he could even do that. And he was a bit disappointed that he wasted his time, because I made him hire a bookkeeper to do that stuff for him. There's no way the managing director of a £6 million company should be doing all the bookkeeping, because so much other stuff. They were at the point they were losing tens of thousands of pounds because they were in the comfort zone, and they weren't looking at the stuff that was really, really important, which was the progress of the jobs that they were undertaking. So once we're in that position and we know the value to the hour, and we've established how we might be keeping hold of control of things through monkey management and superhero syndrome, and we've established that actually we have a tendency to go and do the things that we like, that make us feel good in the moment, not the things that bring our business forward, not the things that put money in the tills. Now we've got to change that. So by changing that, the first thing we do is a default diary. If anyone wants a template for this, please make a note, and I can make sure that you get that. Now, this is you planning in the same way that when you're at school, how did you know when to go to maths? Because it was in your schedule. math was after English every Wednesday. And since that, we all had such a, I don't know about you guys, but not brilliant time at school. We don't want to be doing, we naturally do the opposite of what happened in those times. But having that schedule of going, right, this time on a certain day, I'm always going to do my emails. This time on a certain day, I'm always going to do check last week's figures. This time I'm going to make my sales calls, and structuring your week. And that way you're in advance, you're deciding what to do with logic. Because if you decide in advance what to do, you'll use your logical brain. If you decide in the moment what to do, you'll use your emotional brain. You'll do what you feel like doing, not what's really, really important. So it's as best as you can to take those emotions out, have a plan for what you're going to do during your week. And one of the most important things, if we're going to be really structured with our time, is we need to know where we're taking the business. If you don't have a plan for where your business wants to be in the next 5 years, then you're already there. So I have a system of structuring plans from 3-year plans down to 1-year plans, and then down to 90-day plans, quarterly plans. And from that, you can create a weekly plan. And that way you can structure your week, and you can know that what the things that you're going to do to move forward at a fast pace and do the things that are really important. Because I know, from my experience, if you go into the office or sit at your desk and you haven't got a plan of where you're going to do, you're just going to do the things that you feel comfortable doing, that you like doing. And almost certainly those aren't the most important things. Would you all agree that the things that we like doing the most aren't the most important things, generally speaking? Yeah. And those are the things that we really need to push through to move forward. So having that direction in place. And if you want to have a further conversation about vision and direction, make a note of that, and we can cover that later on. So now, saving ourselves time. That was saving ourselves time.